Hi everyone, this is Matt from Tabletop Games UK, bringing you the first of what we're hoping is going to be many painting tutorial videos. We're going to be doing our first video on Captain Boomerang from the Batman Miniatures game Suicide Squad box set. So this model is going to be broken down into two videos. The first video we're going to cover the skin, the hair and his tracksuit top and hat, and then the second video will cover the rest of the model. For those who don't know, I already have a YouTube channel. You can find it under my name, Matt Mountain, where I cover most of the Walking Dead models. On this channel I'm going to be covering a lot of the other stuff I paint, so Batman, Imperial Assault, Dead Zone, there'll be some Dreadball maybe, Test of Honor, whatever it is I've got on my painting table at the time. I'm painting all my models. I use the Broken Toad Miniature Series Mark II Kolinsky Sable brushes. A real good range of medium sort of price brushes, and the Vallejo thinner medium to mix into my paint. So we're using basic flesh from scale 75 and light skin from scale 75 colour ranges to do our skin. It's going to be a 50-50 mix, so it'll be around about one brush of each colour mixed in with a brush of the thinner medium. Give ourselves a good nice thin paint. We'll do 2 or 3 coats, so just give us a good solid base to work with. So you can see we're going to start applying the colour. I always start with the face of my models. It's the focal point of a model, so it tends to be the part of the model I spend the most time on. So as I said, we're just going to do 2 or 3 thin coats just to give us a good solid base colour to work off of. Scale 75 colours have a real high matte finish to them, which I particularly like compared to all the other ranges of colours. I do use them all, but the matte finish is just I prefer it compared to the satin finish. So for the shade we're going to add a little bit of burnt umber to the mix, plus a very small amount of abyssal blue. The burnt umber's from the Vallejo range and the abyssal blue's from the scale 75 range again. This is just to give us our first lot of shadow. By adding the abyssal blue, you're going to give it a cold sort of feel to skin, but with a lot of the Batman models I like to do it this way. I don't want them looking particularly warm. It's quite a gothic environment and quite a dark, ominous game, so by diluting the colours, desaturating them slightly with blues and blacks, just helps keep them looking dark and very gothic. All the shadowed areas, so particularly places like the eye sockets, underneath the chin, around the neck, in the ears, down the sides of the nose and the mouth. These would be the areas where the least amount of light's going to hit. I do try and paint all my models with the zenithal highlight, so with the light coming from above. There is 2 or 3 other different ways to paint your models. None of them are wrong. There's never a wrong way to paint a model. It's whatever you're comfortable doing and whatever as long as you're getting the effect that you want at the end, it's all that matters. So you can see I just put a bit into the eye sockets, concentrating around the neck area. Also concentrate on areas where different textures meet, so where the hair meets the face, and also do where places where cloth meets the skin. I'll put a shadow in there. It just helps define the area and it'll make the model stand out a bit more. Again, this is something that some people come back and do later with like an oil wash, or people doing it with a fine liner pen and things like that, but I prefer to do it as I'm painting. So moving on to the second shade now, so I've just added another small amount of the abyssal blue to the mix. This will just darken it down and again desaturate the colour a little bit more. I'm concentrating on the smaller area now, so mainly the eye sockets, particularly around the jawline, other areas where the real dark shadows are going to be. In between the fingers is another area. Just concentrating on the fingers. So moving on to our first highlight, again using Pale Skin from the Scale 75 range. So we've added this to our base mix, and what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on all the areas now where the light will hit, so forehead, bridge of the nose, top of the cheekbones, tops of the fingers, anywhere where the light coming from above is going to create the most light. Make sure we catch areas like the back of the neck there, where his head's slightly tilted forward. That will catch more light. And moving on to the second highlight. So again, just adding a very small amount of the pale flesh again. Again, we're just working on a smaller area, so we're only covering mainly the eyebrow area. Again, the tip of the nose, the real high end of the cheekbones, tops of the ears. These are all the areas now where the most amount of light would hit. So now we're going to move on and paint the eyes. And when painting eyes, I don't ever use pure white. This is Vallejo's Ivory. I like to use an off-white. I just find it doesn't make the eyes too stark, too wide-eyed if you just use an off-white. So just using the tip of the brush. This is a size 0 broken toed brush. Very good points on these brushes. Make sure you just work away from the nose. So never work with the brush coming across the nose, always moving away from the nose. And once you've got your white in place, you just go in and just try and put a dot in for the pupil with some black. Don't panic too much if you mess this up and get a little bit on the face, because you just go back with your shade colour and just tidy it up after. A little bit over there on the left eye, but then all I'll do is I'll come in with a little bit of my shade and I'll just tidy the eye up. So now we're going to move on to Necromancer Cloak from the Army Painter range, and we're going to paint the hair and his beard. Just, you know, now something happened to the second part of this part of the video, and I never got the highlight stage. Also, I'd actually painted his I gave him a moustache, but I didn't give him the chops around the side. I added these in later, as I didn't realise he had chops coming down the side of his jawline. And again, just using nice thin paint, just get yourself a good coverage. Just take your time with this bit. Again, you can paint the hair jet black. I'm not a lover of doing the hair jet black, particularly on Caucasian skin. I find the tear hair does tend to be slightly more of a dark grey, and then you can just highlight up from there. So if you give them jet black hair, it gives them a really greasy haired look. And once we've done this base colour, all I did after this was just mixed in a very small amount of the ivory that I had on the palette into the necromancer cloak, and again just the same technique as on the skin, just picking out the higher area of the hair where the light would hit. Just tidying the moustache up there. I must admit, once I'd finished this stage, it did look a bit funny, and I couldn't work out why it didn't look right. And then it was late when I looked at a picture of Captain Boomerang. He's got a set of chops, so I had to add them in. Yeah, this was the stage I was mixing the colour, and I managed to miss out the actual painting part of it. So now this hair is done, we're going to move on to French Blue from the Vallejo Game Air range, and this is what we're going to use to base coat his tracksuit jacket and his beanie hat. When you're using the Vallejo Game or Model Air range, they tend to be the right sort of consistency. Not always, sometimes you need to fill them a little bit more, but most of the time they're the right sort of consistency. You can choose them straight out of the bottle. And you'll always need probably 2, maybe 3 coats depending on the colour you're using, and also what colour your primer you've used. Again, just make sure we get a nice even coverage and do a couple of coats to give us a good solid base to work off of. In this video we're just going to concentrate on the blue part of the tracksuit top. In the next video I will go through the detailing of the writing on the front. Also then we'll move on to his jeans and his jacket and weapons and boots and stuff like that. Yes, excuse the cough, I've had a bit of a cold last week. It's struggling to get rid of it. So you can see we're just making sure we work on the beanie hat as well. Same colour, you could do the beanie hat a slightly darker blue, but I didn't want too many colours flying around in this model. Again, I wanted them to look quite dark and gritty. So you can see there we've got a good solid base colour to work off of. So now we're going to move on to our shades, and after the shades we'll work on to the highlight. So for the shade, all I did was added a very small amount of black to the French Blue, and same as all the other areas, I'm just going to start working it into all the areas where the most shadow is going to be cast. So you're going to be concentrating on the folds and the areas where his leather overcoat catches the tracksuit jacket. So now the first shade's done, I add a very small amount of black again to the mix, and do our second shade. This shade I mainly concentrate on where the overcoat meets the jacket, around the lettering as well, because this will help, just when I do the white on the lettering, it will help really make them stand out. So now for our shade, we're going to move on to our highlights. Added a very small amount of crystal blue from the army painter range. And then we're just going to work on all the areas where the light's going to hit again, so all the tops of the folds of the material, particularly the top of the hat, around the collar, all the areas where if the light was coming from above it's just going to catch and make the colour slightly lighter. Again, use a nice thin paint. If you use thin paints when you're doing your shading and highlighting, you'll find you'll get a better transition of colour, so the blend will be a bit less, there'll be less faults in the blend, it'll be a bit smoother. It also gives you a chance to work the highlight up rather than just being one straight highlight. If you do it in 2 or 3 highlights, it will just help you get that nice blend of colour. So this is the second highlight now, so again it's just added a touch more of the crystal blue. Just working in a smaller area, making sure we leave some of the highlight behind from the previous coat. And we're working on all the highest areas. Again, particularly on his beanie hat, as it's going to catch more light than what the jacket will. And finally, I add a little bit more of the crystal blue again to the mix. But we're not far off using pure crystal blue here. This is just final sort of edge highlight, as it was. Just really catching the finer edges of them folds. And the top of the beanie hat. And then pretty much after this stage we're going to leave it there, guys. So as I said, the next video hopefully should be up within the next couple of weeks for the second part of this. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to Tabletop Games UK and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will put all the links for the magazine webpage and my YouTube channel and the Facebook pages below in the description. So please sign up to as much as you can, follow, and you can follow links on the website page if you would like to donate to our Patreon and help support us and help bring more things like good quality articles and painting videos, and we will also be doing things like battle reps and that as well at some point. So thanks for watching, guys, thanks for subscribing, and stay tuned for the next set of videos coming up soon. Cheers guys, bye.